Do you ever feel like you're never going to have another fun day for the rest of your life? Well, welcome. Because I didn't think I was ever going to have another fun day for the rest of my life. When I came in program, I was 55 years old, and that was 6 years ago. I'm 61 today, and I love being 61. Oh, I love 60s. I had this vision of me in my 60s. When I was 55, when I came into program, I had a vision of my 60s because they were right around the corner, and I looked and I imagined, and what I saw was a big, fat, drunk old lady with a smoker's cough. That was going to be me. It was, and it was going to be me, okay? Because I was killing myself. I was killing myself with all that fun stuff, okay? So alcohol, I was drinking like a fish, and I was smoking like a chimney, and I was eating like a pig. And that was my life. I functioned in my life. I have 2 great kids. I have a really nice house that I own myself. I had great job, go to work. I wasn't going to work drunk. Nope, I didn't get there yet. So I just always thought I was okay without that. But you know, a lot of my life was recreational eating. It's just what you do with people, and it's fun. And it's so much easier to do it with somebody because it's fun, and it kind of, you're both kind of doing bad stuff together, so that's kind of fun. You have your eating buddies. Then there's all the drinking buddies, you know, the people that you dance on the tables with. Yeah, I had those too. And fun. Oh, and then if you're at a party and you want to find the fun people, go out on the porch because they're all smoking. That's where all the fun people are. So that's where I was too. So now, alcohol had me by the throat. It was December. I was 55 years old. I went to AA. I ended up putting down the booze. It was horrible because there was this great big gaping hole in my life. I didn't even know what to do with myself. I didn't know what to do with myself except for smoke and eat, right? So there I was, smoking more, eating more. I started working the steps, and then I knew I couldn't take step 3 until I was not practicing addictions. It just seemed like it was idiotic for me to actually kneel down with my sponsor and take step 3 and hold her hands and say, I'm going to turn my will and life over to the care of God, but I have Oreo cookies in the car when I leave, and I'm going to smoke 3 cigarettes on the way home. It just made no sense to me, so I knew I had to get really clean. And as each thing went, so that was December, the booze. March, I kicked the cigarettes because, of course, the last one that's going to go is the food. It was the first one that cropped up when I was about 12. And then April, I put down the food. So now I'm in a place in April, I am like, I am never going to have a fun day in my life. Any party I go to, what do I even do when I get there? What do you do? What do you do? Oh, no, thank you. I won't have a drink. I'll have a salsa water. Oh, no, I'm not going to have that pizza. I'm abstinent. I'm going to have this salad. Do you have any oil without dressing, just oil on the side? Do you have, and I'm just like, oh, and then I'm having Nick fits because I want to have a cigarette, and everybody's out there smoking and having a good time. And I was just in a pity party until I wasn't anymore. And I'm just going to say, stick around, because I have never had more fun at parties than I do today. When I'm actually not intoxicated, I actually feel really comfortable in my body. I'm not worried about what I'm going to wear when I wear to the party, because I can just wear, everything just fits and everything feels good. And I didn't realize things that went on at parties that are of real value, according to my, all the things that I had in my higher power wanted ad. I had all this beautiful stuff that I wanted to introduce into my life. It was all right there at all the parties, but I wasn't paying attention to it. I was too busy singing karaoke and smoking and getting another drink, and laughing and having fun. And I always thought, well, I'm a fun drunk, so I'm okay. I'm fun with the food. I'm a good cook. Anyway, I just want you to know that that you don't know what's going on in the world around you until you unclog yourself with the crap and the distraction. And I came to discover that there is such awesome things in the people that are not out there smoking. And like maybe even like the little kids at the party that you can kind of watch and be in awe about, instead of like, get these freaking kids out of here. You know what I mean? It's like it's just like in a whole different space. And, you know, it's the same thing with the spiritual journey. Just get curious, just get curious. I'm going to this party and I'm going to see how I'm going to have fun. And, but I honestly, truly thought that I couldn't sustain this because everything that was fun was taken away from me. And those were the three things that were destroying my life. They were destroying me physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I thought that that was bringing me fun. And then the true fun begins. Like right now on this recording with all you people. I mean, what's more fun than that? And like it says in the big book, you know, step 12, it's the bright spot of our life, you know, working with others. My favorite book line in the big book, the top of page 77, our real purpose is to fit myself to be of maximum service to God and those people about me. And it says, it doesn't say my real purpose is to be of maximum service to God and those people about me. My real purpose is to fit myself to be of maximum service to God and those people about me. And how do I fit myself? I do my step work. I do my 10, 11, 12 on a daily basis. I put my food in the scale and I don't hurt myself. That's how I stay fit to be of maximum service to God and those people about me. And life is a joy, and I am in my 60s, and I'm not old, and I'm not fat, and I'm not drunk, and I don't have a cough. Yay! Thank you.
Thank you, Lulu. I'll just take a couple minutes here just to add to this. When I came into program, I was in a lot of pain and desperation. It wasn't fun anymore. These things weren't fun to me anymore. I was kind of at the end of my rope. But once I started to get into abstinence, it was kind of like, oh, I'm doing okay now. And I had this thing where I absolutely loved to bake, and I made the most beautiful creations with my baking. And I had this thought that I could totally stay abstinent and own a bakery. How crazy is that? It would be like an alcoholic owning a bar, like totally ridiculous. Luckily, my sponsor was like, no, I don't. Here, let's do some more step work. Let's do some more step work. But the thing that I really wanted to share, something that was really powerful for me, as I worked through my own steps, and then as I've worked with others, I have a wonderful sponsee who has worked very hard at this program. And at the very beginning, it was really difficult for her because she and her husband were kind of binge buddies. Every holiday they give each other food as gifts, and it was just this really painful thing. And she became abstinent not very long, or just before Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day was like this huge thing for her. She needed it. It was just, she and her husband would exchange food and chocolates and whatever, right? And it was, how am I going to celebrate this? And I just encouraged her, and I believe her birthday was around the same time. Anyway, encouraged her to think about what she might be able to do instead of celebrating with food. And she came up with the most beautiful idea, and I just wanted to share it with you, because getting some ideas of, okay, up till now, everything I've ever celebrated has been centered around food. How do I manage that? So here's some ideas. She went and she wrote beautiful Valentine's notes to all of her family, sat down, wrote these beautiful Valentine's notes and send them to all of her family. And she did some other service things. And on her birthday, I believe she did something similar where she went out and reached out and did service instead of getting food. And she just shared with me how kind of life-changing that has been for her to look for alternative ways to celebrate other than food, and how it's given space for so many more rich and enjoyable activities that do not destroy her, that aren't destructive to her, that aren't destructive to others. So just an encouragement to look for alternative ways to celebrate. Food does not have to be, I mean, it's not the be all end all. And it was when I came into this program. I remember, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to go out and do different things? But the further into abstinence you get, the easier it becomes, the less you care. And the more you realize that nobody else cares if you bring your own food. They don't care. They're eating their food. They're worried about what you're thinking about what they're eating. They don't care what you're doing. So that was something for me. I was all worried about that. But now I just take my food with me wherever I go. Or I just make accommodations at restaurants, and I call ahead and do things like, you just shift into it's just a new way of living. And it's so beautiful. One other thing that popped into my head that the sponsee shared, it was so beautiful, something that her husband did for her on her birthday. It was the year after she'd been abstinent a year. And she said one of the most beautiful gifts she'd ever received from her husband. Yes, it was food, but he brought her a potato and a sweet potato, because he knew that those were things that she could enjoy. And it was just kind of this beautiful thing, like he understood what she needed. And it was a very thoughtful gift. She was a more beautiful thing than any flowers or box of chocolates or anything like that, that he understood that abstinence meant so much to her, that he would give her a gift like that. And that's what I've got to share on life can still be fun in abstinence. In fact, it's just so much better, so much more beautiful and rich, without numbing it up and hiding behind the food.